And welcome to mycadsite.com. Here I am showing you the first assignment. This is on tutorial 1-2, and it's just a good one to get you started using absolute and relative coordinates so that you'll be able to learn to accurately input lines and other objects into Autocad. So starting with the line command, L enter, and starting an absolute point of 1, 2. The next point is 3, 2, which means it's going to be 2 units out to the right. The next one is 2 units up, so I'm going to go to 3, 4, and these are all absolute points in Autocad. Back to 1, 4, and finally the last point, I'm going to go back to where I started, 1, 2. So now I've got my first square drawn using absolute points relative to AutoCAD's drawing origin. The next one I'm going to do is using relative points. I'm going to once again start the line command, but start at an absolute point just so I can place it correctly in the drawing at 4.5, 2. The next line is relative to that, 2 units in the X and 0 in the Y, meaning straight out to the right. The next point is relative to that, 0 in the X and 2 in the Y. And if you're watching the command line, you'll see all the input that I'm using. And the third section is going to be relative to that point, -2 in the X and 0 in the Y. And press enter. And now I'm going to use an option. If I'm watching the command line, you'll see that it'll say close/undo. So I want to close the box back to where I started. And for that, all I need to do is press C, enter. It closes to my original starting point and ends the command. Now the third one I'm going to do is at an angle, and for this I'm going to use polar coordinates, and once again I'm going to start at an absolute point on the screen, in this point 8, 2. And now I want to draw a line at 45 degrees, 1 unit long. So it's at 1 angle sign 45 degrees. Next one is at 1 unit at 135 degrees. Third section is 1 unit long at an angle of 225 degrees. And once again I can close it, and there's my third box drawn. Next one I want to do is just draw a circle up in the corner now, and I could start the circle command. I'm just going to type in circle. I could use C or use the icon, and I first have to enter a center point for where the circle is going to be. In this case it's 7, 6 absolute on the screen, and I can make it any radius I want. But being AutoCAD, I want it exact, and it's going to have a radius of 0.75. So I enter that, press enter, and there's my circle up in the corner. Next thing I will do is draw a border around the drawing, and this is going to be starting at 0, 0. So I start the line command, enter my points. This is all absolute points on AutoCAD's drawing screen. And it's going to be a 10 by 7 box, so I've gone 10 units over in the right. Now I'm going to an absolute point, 7 units up, and I want to come back 10 units to the left, once again using absolute points and then closing it. So you can see that there's many different ways to draw lines, and I'm just going to dimension this now just to show that yes, these boxes are 2 units. And the angled one is 1 unit, and then I'm going to dimension the circle, and it actually says 0.8, but that's rounded up from 0.75. so I hope that makes things clear for the first exercise. Thanks for watching my CADs.